Doing good. How you doing?
Let's go ahead, man. That's a lot to talk to you about, brother.
Yeah, we ain't talking a minute.
We ain't talking a minute, family. You know what I'm saying? I guess for you with Bad News not going down last night. Are you disappointed? Do you care? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm disappointed, man. It was really, really good content, you know. And like I always say, it's not anything I could use for anybody else.
Got you.
And so, not even, you know, yeah, like I mean, it's very, very tailored to Bad News. All 3 rounds. So yeah, that's frustrating. You know, I was really, really excited about performing it. I was really excited to perform on the Public Influence Battle League, you know, with the VR stuff that they got going on.
All right.
After I got there and just saw their crowd, they have a really, really good crowd. Like they have a great following, like for their local battlers. So it's not a crowd like honestly, they were more there to see the local battlers than they were there to see, you know, JC, J Moore, A Ward, Bad News, you know. So that's really cool when you have like a different type of crowd like that, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it was definitely and also like you know, Newz is also just a good name to have on a resume too, you know. So it's like, you know, here I go again, second time this year already, you know, that I've had an ability to enhance my resume for the year, and you know, it's fell through. So those things are frustrating, you know, when you look at like the what could have been.
Respectfully to Bad News, I had you win that battle clearly. I had you win that battle before the situation even, you know, all the rumblings and stuff that he has going on personally, right? I can imagine the material you had, brother. I can just imagine. Like, now here's the thing. He went on not a campaign, but he put out there, anyone better not say this, anyone better not say that. Did you buy into that? Did you care about that? You just came and clipped up like, I was taking it anyway, so I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. No, I never bought into that. I was always going to say what I wanted to say. You know, my biggest thing in the beginning of all of that was there was all kind of like, and I get promotion, right? I understand selling a story and stuff like that, but there was just some negative energy around it. You know, the first time we were supposed to battle, and I don't have that kind of history in any of my battles, and me and Newz are like, you know, cordial. So, you know, but yeah, so no, I was always gonna say what I wanted to say, and do it professionally and creative.
You battled Twork, right? How was that battle?
Yeah, so since we've talked, I battled Swamp. I don't think we talked since I battled Swamp or
that's also
or Twork. Yeah, the Twork battle also on iBattle was really, really good. I really had a good time out there in Worcester.
Okay, and Swamp, how you feel about the Swamp battle? I had you win the battle respectfully.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I thought I won that battle clearly.
Yeah.
It was
Swamp was solid though, but that's why I had you win that battle.
Yeah, Swamp had a good second round. He had a good second round.
Was good, yeah.
But yeah, I thought I had some really good rebuttals in that battle, some really good material. Once again, on a different type of league. We're both not from there, so we're in Trenton, New Jersey, and you know, the weird thing is, like, Swamp had already said in an interview, I think on Hip Hop Is Real, that he never wanted to battle me, and then I, you know, was just like, all right, cool. Like when somebody says they don't want to battle you, I don't ever press it. You know what I mean? So
he was very supportive of you and gave you a lot of love. Anytime I brought up your name in interviews, Swamp has always been.
Yeah, and I feel the same about Swamp, you know. And so it was a situation where this league hit us up for a 1-rounder, and I think it was just like, it was such a good price, and they were doing good business. It was like, all right, man, if you don't want to battle me, like the best thing to do is just do a 1-rounder, you know. Well, then, you know, like about 2 weeks before the event, like I text the league, like, man, I'm trying to do 390s instead of, you know, 1 round, like, because like I talked about resume stuff like that, like, you know, 1-rounders don't count. Like, you know, if I'm gonna write this much, so Swamp, you know, agreed to it, and then league agreed to it and paid us some more, you know, to turn in 3 rounds. And yeah, you know, shout out to that league. I think they're learning, but you know, definitely the audio is not great, and that would just be my biggest criticism, you know, in regards to the battle. But you know, you got to start somewhere, and you know, hopefully they got this big card coming up with Twerk and Prez Mafia and Miss Hustle and Prestavia. You know, hopefully that they're able to take that constructive criticism and turn that into, you know, a better product.
Because the comment section was wilding, Ward. They was wilding. Yo, they was wild in the comment section, brother. You feel me? So, like you said, I hope they.
Yeah, I wasn't really like pleased, and I shouldn't. I hate to like reveal information to you that I haven't spoke with them about, you know. But I would have liked for them to actually show him choke. You know what I mean? Because they did like an edit at the end, and like at least if you're gonna cut out like the minute that he was like drinking
No
a
cutouts. We
Gatorade.
doing no cutouts in battle.
I'm saying I'm all about no cutouts. But if like let's just say you want to trim that minute down to like 20 seconds at least show the choke, you know, because he called time on himself. You know, which is indicative of like, yo, I don't got it, you know. And so when somebody says like, man, time, whatever, and I start rapping, you know, so you know when you edit it down like that, it looked kind of like I just kind of like realized he forgot his line, and I just went ahead and started my round. You know what I mean? And it's just like no. So I do wish that you know they would have kind of put that together a little different in the third round. But you know, I mean, the battle just drops, and that's just I've said this. I think I said this on your channel last time. It's like leagues, like please, like if you're planning on editing anything, if you're planning on dropping it at a certain time or whatever, like reach out to the guys that are on the on the ones in the battle and say like, hey, how you feel about this? You know, I understand that it's your material you're dropping on your channel, but I think it's important to do that and so that there's no like, yo, what the heck happened? Like, come on, man, you know.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. I think the league should reach out to the guys actually battling. You know what I'm saying? Like the guys that actually forget everybody else. The people actually battling. Reach out to them. Hey, dog. You know, this is the. You know, I got. How you feel about Swamp this year? I feel Swamp is having a rough year. I know you got a lot of personal things going. That's my guy too. I got a number left for Swamp. But I think he's having a rough year. You know what I'm saying? And
it's been tough for Swamp. You know, and man, it sounds egotistical. Like I don't really know what it's like to be in that slump. You know what I mean? I like a lot of times, like I'm not the guy that's 0 for 18 and you just shoot out of it. You know, like I lose a battle, I turn around and make sure the next battle is the battle.
Fact. You know? That's a fact.
That's kind of how I've always operated. You know, so I'm sure that psychologically there's some it's tough to kind of get motivated, get back. You're already like, listen, man, it's been a rough year. Like, you know, he probably is. Like maybe a certain matchup, you know, or on a certain card or something. Like maybe if he got an announcement on NOME or something like that, it would kind of reignite, you know, whatever. But then again, it's like, how do you reward somebody with NOME that's having that type of year? So it's really like a catch-22, you know. But ultimately, like he's, you know, when he's on, he's one of the best.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And I think he just needs to go back and he just needs to find the love for, you know, performing and writing, you know, because a lot of these battles are grab a check, go, you know what I mean? You know, and like you got to find the love for performing and writing, and then he needs to get booked for a battle that really motivates him to go in there and get crazy.
How do you stay motivated, Ward? You go to city to city, league to league, you go to Jersey, Ohio, all over the place. How do you stay motivated, bro? Being here for a while now, you've been consistent for the most part of your whole career. But how do you keep that level of consistency? You might have mishaps here and there, right? But for the most part, you've always showed us a level of consistency. Is that be competitive? You like sports? That playing a part too? Because
absolutely, bro. Like you know, like you know, when I look at it, it's like yo, like the highest I've ever finished is like 5th in the world. You know what I mean? Like in regards to us using that one, you know, Cody as a measuring stick for right. You know, but I look at it as like, listen, there's more opportunity to battle, you know, big names, you know, there's more opportunity to battle on big stages. There's more opportunity to battle for, you know, nice bags, you know, that can help, you know. And so, and then also just, Rob, just a competitor by nature. It's just, you know, like you didn't have to, when you play sports, you didn't have to be like, it's Wednesday game. We're just playing such and such. You're like, no, I get to play basketball. I can't wait to go out here and hoop. You know, and it's just like it didn't matter if it was a team that you were supposed to beat or whatever. It was like you're blessed to be a competitor. You're blessed to go out there and show your gift. And I think for me, the motivation part, the tough motivation part is spending the time writing the best stuff, right? Because I'm always motivated to perform. I love to perform in front of random people, go out there, rebuttal, get crazy, whatever, the energy, all that's going to always be there because once I'm there, I love it. The motivation lies in, hey, it's Wednesday. I could just be watching, you know, the NBA Finals, but I really need to lock in and go watch some battles and do some research and clip up. You know, that's where the real motivation lies, to make sure you're putting out the best product.
Because battle rap is funny, right? And I love my guys. No shade to my guy. I love Suave. But some people don't pay with it. But okay, I always, if I'm going to walk in a room, is it Swamp and A-Ward or Suave and A-Ward? I'd probably go to the Swamp and A-Ward room, right? But you and Suave had a dope battle, though, sir.
Hey, listen, me and Suave, me and Truffaut.
Yes, yes.
Like there's been a couple of them this year, you know, that have just been really, really good
Yes.
battles, you know. And yeah, you know, man, I love that Suave battle.
Yes.
I love the Suave battle because it was a battle that there was no expectations really on how it was going to turn out because nobody really thought like Ward and Suave, you know. And like me and Suave never really thought Ward and Suave, you know, and sometimes those are the best ones, like, you know, and then Suave was very, you know, motivated, you know, and, you know, he had vintage Suave stuff, he had heartfelt Suave stuff, and it's like, bro, that's what we want to see out of our legends, you know, is we want to see those glimpses, you know what I mean, on bigger cards against, you know, guys like myself that are, you know, blessed enough right now to be considered, you know, top of the game.
Right. To go back to bad news, do you think it's over now?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's over with the league, you know. So the league is good, you know. They're not rescheduling that one, you know. I think we spoke, you know, the first time I rescheduled, you know, and I just rescheduled off the fact that I hadn't spoke to him, and I wasn't about to just pull up, you know, bad news, you know, on some like what type of time's he on. So I didn't get on the phone with him till the midweek of the week that we were supposed to battle, you know, and was like, yo, like, hey, we good, like, you know, we had a private conversation, you know, that helped me feel a lot more comfortable where he was at and what I was doing, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, bet we're rescheduling it, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna, you know, it's gonna be a great battle. And so yeah, with this particular situation, you know, and why he wasn't there, the league themselves, you know, felt it necessary to be like, yeah, we're moving on from that, you know, we're moving on from that battle. They want to book me with another opponent, you know, for another card they got coming up. So we were discussing that to see if that's a possibility. But you know, like I said, like obviously, you know, might be a good segue actually into what we're talking about next. Is like, you know, I could release bars in my hotel room right now for bad news if I wanted to, you know, and post them on my YouTube channel. But you know, now these days I kind of wish I had some of that material back, just stored on my computer that I could just that I could use, you know. So I don't know. I mean, you know, a league, you know, he might get back active again. He might, and it might be, you know, a situation where a league wants to pick it up, and you know, so I'll probably hold off on that material because, like I said, I mean, it was 2 minutes to 2:30 was the cap, and I had like you know 3 rounds, all like 220, 225. So it's a lot of good material.
And how you in Twerk? Is that something gonna be? Are we done with that? Or I know I keep beating a dead horse.
No, yeah.
When you in Twerk, is that where we at with that?
Done with it. I don't think we'll ever be done with it.
Right.
But right now I'm kind of cool on it. You know, I don't know. I go back and forth on it. You know, I go back and forth on how I feel. Just being from just to be transparent, like preparing 2 times, 3 rounds. You know, busting my tail. You know, spending hours and weeks. You know, like getting ready to battle against somebody. And it's difficult. It's difficult to lock back in a 3rd time. You know, with. And this is just, I mean, this is just, I'm just going to call it what it is.
Right.
When Twerk can do no wrong, you know, like it's just the fact that, like, you know, and I'm not saying, I understand that he had valid reasons, I guess, for the first 2, you know, definitely the first one. The second one is, you know, is kind of a situation where he just chose not to battle me because he couldn't be at his best. It wasn't like he couldn't be there to battle, you know, he could have came and battled and been a little bit more stagnant than what he normally is, but he chose not to go to Apollo because he felt like he couldn't move around and spin and skirt and do all of his stuff at the highest level, you know? But the thing about it is that when it comes to Twerk, like, if he doesn't want to battle, he doesn't have to battle, you know? And he's still going to be considered for the next biggest event. He's still going to be given the next biggest name, you know? And there's not really repercussions or accountability for how he's able to operate, you know, which is a testament to him being a superstar. So it's you know, it's like, bro, like you're a superstar, you're Twerk, we get it, you know what I mean? But it's also frustrating for your opponent to know that at the end of the day, you don't have to compete against me. And it you know, like that, and if the time comes and you're like, yeah, you know what, it doesn't matter, you know?
Right.
So for me, there's that element of it, you know? So As far as rescheduling it, I think I'll be pretty specific in regards to what I want,
Okay.
And the first thing that I want is I want no time limits.
No time limits.
No time limits. No,
Okay.
I didn't write 6 rounds of material for the next time for us to battle, me to have to go in there and put down all this stuff. It's a new conversation because you've already missed 2 battles, and for me have to take all of this stuff and fit it into 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, or whatever. No, like it's no time limit. So if you want to show up and rap, like, don't look at me because I've got a lot to say now, So like, there's gonna be specific things for me, in regards to that, and there's gonna be specific things for me that, in regards to the renegotiating in the contracts, for that as well, in the event that something else happens, So that's just kind of how I'm gonna operate. Like I said, TBL took care of business. They did great business. You know what I mean? They took care of me great in Houston. Shout out to them. I really, really appreciate Kenny and Chilla and how they operated. But yeah, so I think just with that battle itself, part of me wants to just kind of be like, yo, it's kind of in my hands, Even though I just said like he doesn't have to battle me, but at the end of the time, I think that we'll do it when I want to do it.
Okay. I said, see, we know a battle rap is stagnant and the culture. We need big battles. Anyone in Twerk is one of the best battels. I mean, you got Hitman Mook, you got Jaden Lightning doing his thing and everything like that. But we really, people want, bro. I remember when that battle was like, this battle's not going down. The amount of people called my phone, bro. It was just like, damn, this battle's not happening, man.
And see, that's just what I want it to understand is like, I know we always have an A side and a B side, but to me, this battle is a 1A and a 1B. You know what I mean? It's because of both of us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this battle could main event. This battle could main event any league, any stage, any event. Right? This battle could be the main event.
Riot, Chrome, URL.
I firmly believe this could be a Summer Madness main event. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people would be pissed off, considering that would like be my debut, if I was over there. So I think this battle is a main event anywhere, and I want it to be taken that seriously. I want it to be looked at from a league, standpoint and from a Twerk standpoint of like, this is that one,
Do you think the battle rap gods just want you to grace the URL stage one time? What battle war? What you on URL?
They really might, man. Beasley texted me a couple weeks ago. Beasley did text me a couple weeks ago. I did not do a great job following up with him. I was just prepping for Swamp and Tariq and different things like that. Like I said, we always tend to have communication. I do with URL probably every like 3 or 4 months to kind of test the waters to see what works, what it looks like.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because people think that you don't rock with URL, they don't rock with you. People always, and the hell you say it, I'm glad you
yeah,
no. That though, man.
It's never that, man. It's the idea of like an antagonist and a protagonist in a story, right? So it's like basically like if you remove like Thanos, like the Avengers is not as fun, right? So like, like with Ward and URL, like yes, there is some like, I have some demands and they have some different things or whatever. But the minute we close that story, you know what I mean, and the debut's gone, the what if, the what happens, what happens the next time on the episode of, or is this a possible, all of that, you mystique and everything is taken away,
What's your take on Twork and Eazy saying that he'd only battle him if he battles you? And do you think Eazy the block captain is saying it? You think he's right on his premise of saying that, I don't trust you. I don't think think the things that he was saying.
I think that sounds cool that I control now an Eazy the block captain and New Jersey Twerk battle. Like, yeah, put some respect on my name. No, listen, like I said, it's a difficult thing. I empathize somewhat with Eazy. I would say this much. I think Eazy's using that because he's scared.
What about you, brother? You gonna speak your mind? Continue, man.
Yeah, I think that's a very good reason for the public because, like I just explained to you how I feel about that, right? So it kind of falls in the same lines with how I feel about how Twerk operates and whatever. And I think that is a good PR reason to go off of, because there have been times this year where like Twerk is showed up or different things like that. So I think it but at the same time, like, here's my thing, Eazy, like, you got wild up your first time against Twerk. Like imagine Geechee, like when I battled Geechee the first time, and then him like acting like, nah, I don't want a second battle because you know what I mean? Like that's not how this works. Like when you kind of get wild up in your first time, like, no, you're better now, right? You're the man now, right? More than likely it's gonna happen on your league. More than likely it's gonna happen within an hour of your city, because 90% of your league is always in Philly or Jersey or Camden or Trent or whatever, like, and now that might be another reason too, considering that Philly and Trenton are so close to each other that Twerk is from Trenton, it might be more, but I'm just saying, I think, I've always thought Eazy the Black Captain picked his opponents very strategically. And, I wouldn't be surprised, if it was a different battle popped up with Eazy, that you would be like, yeah, that's a little safer battle.
Wow.
So I'm not mad at him for his reasoning, because some of his reasoning kind of aligns with kind of how I just explained about rescheduling the battle and feeling about, Twerk. But I just think, for me, I think Eazy's scared.
Dang. Wow. Jesus Christ. Did you feel?
And I could be completely wrong. That's just how I feel. Like just because you got wild up the first time, and like Twerk is like in promo mode, like you could obviously tell he's ready. You know what I mean? He wants to go out there and cook. So we'll see.
Did you feel a way about Twerk saying he was so adamant, wanted to battle Eazy but not want to rematch with you? Did you feel a way about that?
I didn't hear him say. Did he say he didn't want to rematch with me?
No, he never said. No, he didn't say that. But the fact that he was so adamant that wanted to battle Eazy but not complete the mission of complete the battle with you, have a conversation with you first. Were you surprised?
Yeah, that just kind of speaks to like the issues I'm having. Right? It's like when I'm saying to you, this is the main event. I don't get the feeling that he values that battle with me, and I'm not saying he's scared to battle me. I don't know. You know what I mean? But when you're immediately jumping to another person that you're not locked in with and doing promo because it's going to be another bag, right? Like, the reschedule with me, more than likely, I don't know the business behind it, but, he's probably already got paid half of it or whatever. So now it's like, oh, new bag, new idea. Let's move on so that, I can, or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, bro. Like, if I was to not show up to battle you, right, the first thing I want to do, right, the times that I've not shown up, Big K, I turned around and was like, nah, let's reschedule, let's get it going. I got whooped. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. I mean, I lost to Big K the second time. I'd say whooped, whatever. But like, I was like, yo, let's get it. Let's take care of business. I didn't say, I was still A-Ward. I could have just been like, I was sick. All right, let's move on to Vixen. Let's move on to these other things. I got big stuff going.
Right.
Whoop. No, let's get this knocked out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. So like, yeah, him jumping on that, on to the next battle or whatever, to me is just a little bit kind of disrespectful. And it's just, I think it's him thinking like, yo, I'll just lock in with Ward anytime. Ward, and I think it's probably him just thinking like Ward's always going to be Ward,
Right.
So,
Are you surprised you have not been on Chrome? Listen, I was in the building with you and Vixen. That was just amazing. That night was just amazing, period. Are you surprised you have not been back on Chroma Trenches though?
Yeah, I am. But and I could be wrong here as well.
All right.
It seems to me,
because you were damn near, you could make the argument you were one of the MVPs that night, sir. You could make that argument.
It seems to me like me and Remy have a good relationship. She would always text me, and she's texted me this year, with ideas for names and different things like that. And I could be wrong because I don't pay too much attention, but it seems to me like it's been more Trenches Chrome, like Eazy kind of facilitating the events,
right,
than it was back whenever I did like the Vixen and Eclipse battle, and so maybe Eazy just doesn't see a reason to to book me, or doesn't because he called me one time, I think it was last year. It was like a 10-second conversation. It was like, hey, it's Eazy. Yo, would you battle so and so? And I'm like, yeah, bet. Let me know. And I never heard back. So I think maybe it's just the vision or whatever of what maybe he's got going on and how he feels my value to that is. Like I said, I don't want to get messy. I don't know who's running it over there. I know Remy's busy. I know, but like I said, she texted me, earlier this year for anniversary card with names and different things like that. So I definitely think we have a good relationship there. So hopefully, if she's taking the reins of booking another event, like I'll be included. But yeah, I definitely love performing over there, and I would love to get back.
I saw Danny Myers he's doing a show earlier today, and a conversation about King.
Oh, it don't show my name on here, doesn't it?
You see my name? My bad. I got you. What is that? King of the Riot? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because a lot of conversation on the timeline was about his war King of the Riot, though. And you and Geechee have a great relationship. How do you feel?
Yeah, we definitely. Yeah,
you got some fire battles over there too, family. But go ahead.
Yeah, me and Geechee are really cool. Obviously, this is how I always feel. Is like Geechee is like the Riot is his league. You know what I mean? So like, if he wants to be the king of the Riot, like he's the king of the Riot. Unless for some reason he was just getting whooped on the Riot a bunch, then it's like, all right, bro, you're just the league owner, So I feel like if it's not Geechee, it's me. Because you have to look at it this way, Three. Right. If you ask what's my worst battle on the Riot.
Worst battle on the Riot. I don't know if you got a worst battle on the Riot, sir.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I have 3. And what are they? Geechee the rematch, Rum Nitty the battler of the year, and Twork that's about to hit 1 million.
Crazy. Crazy.
Like, yes, there's no question. Like, when it comes to the consistency of those 3 battles being probably the top 3 battles on the Riot.
Okay.
If you had to list the best battles on the Riot of all time, I mean, I would go back and watch a few other ones. I think there's some really good ones. I think Unison, Hansel, that was on the Riot.
Fire battle.
Super fire. There's definitely some good battles, but I would argue that probably those 3 are in the top 5 of Riot. They are. And there's nothing that I've lost, like clearly or anything like that. It's just been battle of the year. It's been, million view battle with Rock, and then the Geechee rematch, which lived up to the hype, which rematches hardly ever do.
So is it more like if Geechee has big cards on the Riot, I gotta call Ward? Is that how this works? I gotta call anyone.
And that's what I position myself for. I position myself for like, I'm not sitting back like, yo, the only big plate I got waiting on me is TBL for the rematch or whatever. Like I can make moves on different leagues, and I can go main event here. I can get names here. Even though RBE and King of the Dot have kind of fell back a little bit, RBE totally really and King of the Dot is kind of just moving at the beat of its own drum. And those are leagues I was prominent on. And it's tough. You would think like a guy who was prominent on certain leagues and counted on those leagues for big plates would suffer with their resume when those leagues scaled back. Right. But I'm not that kind of guy. Like I have the rapport and the relationships, and I can create, on other leagues, really, really high end matches, Right. And so yeah, so I'm blessed that when the Riot, that when KP or Geechee, needs something, that they're calling me and they're saying like, yo, we want you and Coffee, we want you to headline this event. We want to, and I'm blessed that they still consider me that and they see the value in what I bring.
How do you feel about you and Coffee?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I have no battles. I have no battles until her. So it's like I've got a month. And for Ward, like a month.
Yeah, Coffee, I love you. You got a month for you, Coffee. Good Lord. Jesus Christ. You gonna focus on Coffee only? Oh
yeah. Man. Yeah, so I've got a month. And I say that, but I still am the kind of person that when I have a month or so, I still really lock in that last 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm excited. It's a different conversation. It's one thing that was difficult for me, and I'll just be honest, when I battled Charlie Clips the first time, the 1-rounder, I really loved my material for Charlie Clips. I loved in Cleveland, we had a really good 1-rounder back and forth. You kind of use your angles, you use your name flips, you use this material or whatever. And then when it gets rebooked for 3 rounds, sometimes it's difficult, you know what I mean? Because you've kind of like used the fresh stuff, you know what I mean? So now you're having to kind of go to different places or whatever. Right. And I enjoy my Charlie Clips battle. I don't think it's nearly as bad as what people kind of said it was. I think it was a good battle. But I think with Coffee this time, I'm going to ensure that the material I had in the first round is on par and the same as, if not, this 3-round battle is going to be better. So like I'm going to do my best
Do you like that challenge? Do you like that challenge where you gotta be like, okay, I battle this person now. Now I gotta come with 3 fresh rounds. Do you like that challenge though? Like you just spoke about it.
Like it?
My bad, brother.
Man,
like, my bad,
listen, bro. Like I had so much good stuff in that round. Like, oh my gosh.
Right.
You know. But it's a gift and a curse. You know, it's a gift and a curse because it's one of those situations where I think that if I would have went in there and delivered that, I probably would have won a 1-rounder clearly, right? I feel that way. And I think Coffee, I listened to the interview, Coffee said, like, hey, I wasn't ready for that at that time, and I appreciated that honesty or whatever. But I think that, winning that 1-rounder clearly wouldn't have really been, I think winning a 3-round battle on Riot, story around it coming into this, into this, next month or whatever, I benefit from it better,
Okay. Well,
considering she's a WOTY, she won the WOTY, right? She's a WOTY winner. She's highly acclaimed. She's performing on a high level. I've got her winning quite a few battles this year.
Had to be the Swamp. Had to be the Swamp. Had to be the Suge.
I had Bonnie edging it.
Okay. Is that family talk though?
Yeah. No, if it was family talk, I said Bonnie 3-0, man.
Okay, all right. Coffee, listen, she made no bones about it, man. She's the respect factor she has for you, man. Everybody has respect for you, Ward. You know what I mean?
Actually, happy birthday to her too. I think that's her birthday.
So happy birthday, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Even though I think she's won the battles against certain guys, I didn't like the Swamp battle too much overall. Don't kill me, Coffee. Just being honest, I didn't like the Swamp battle, the Suge battle. I thought it was, all over the place a little bit and everything like that. But I'm expecting something different though, because she battled on the Riot against Geechee, right?
Yes, she did. But was that in Atlanta?
No, that was in Atlanta. That was in Atlanta.
I think it was. I get them mixed up because sometimes those bullpen events too. Like there's so many events in Atlanta, and I always get mixed up. Like I thought Loso and Jazz was on Riot for some reason, and then I was like, no, that was a bullpen. And it was at KOD too. So like they used some of the same venues and stuff. Mm-hmm. But but yeah, I think she battled him in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, man, my question would be like, I'm very well received out there. Like the Riot loves me, So even though it's closer to San Bernardino, obviously, than it is Kansas City, I think it'll be a really good crowd, a crowd that is excited for the both of us, Now,
the first 2 announcements has been mixed gender battles. I don't know if Geechee is that the theme here. Do you know?
Well, so no mixed that. So I don't know if you look. That's a different event. So that's
you're right. That's in Jacksonville. You're right, bro. That's a different.
So Av and Vixen. So they announced Hansel and Saint on our card, which
Hansel
is
on your card too. Okay.
Yes, which is mixed gender because Saint is going to smoke him, and Hansel, So it's just technically. Shout out to Saint, my guy YTG, man. Shout out to Saint.
Oh man. So do you like what's going on this year for you so far? How you enjoy? We're in June 8th.
Yes, I got mixed emotions, man. I'm really pleased with just the performances I've been able to put on this year. I've given 100% to every league. Mm-hmm. I've been able to headline on iBattle. Go out. I love going back out to Bridgeport.
Okay.
On QB's league, I love that league.
Mm-hmm.
With the City Towers battle. Thought the True Foe and the Slave 7 battles turned out great. Got a clear win against the Swamp. I've just been able to I think perform at a high level still and kind of build my resume. I think I was writing it down the other day. I think let me take a look real quick because I'm trying to see how many battles I got so far. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 battles so far. Yeah. So which is it's June. Usually I average about 1.5 a month. I usually the bad news obviously didn't happen. Twerk didn't happen. So yeah, that sucks. But I got some stuff that's possibly on the plate for the next few months that are exciting. There's one battle that I assume will be getting announced here in the next few weeks that is very exciting. It is a battle a lot of people have been calling for. It's very exciting. It's very exciting for me. It's very exciting for me. And it's about a lot of people have been wanting to see. And I think when the flyer drops, people will be like, "Oh snap!" So and so yeah, and that's going to be in July. So that event's going to be in July, a couple weeks after Coffee.
Okay.
So, yep. And so I'm excited for that. And then I'm still working with some other leagues, man. I'm working with some other leagues, just, trying to put together some really, really good battles, man. I really want to battle JC. I really want to battle Prep. I really want to battle Jerry West. I really want to battle Chess. I want to battle T-Top. I've got plenty of names,
You got
out
some
here.
names, brother. You got some names left, bro.
That I could get locked in and they could be really, really good battles, I still really want to battle Jazz, John and Calico. So like, I'm like I said, I got a good rapport with Calico on his league now. I feel like if he's continuing to do events, like I'll be somebody he calls back for something like that, So yeah, I'm really excited. Those are all out there. Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back, seeing who wants to invest in it.
You in Prep though? That's a low key though, bro.
I've been trying to get that battle for like the last year, man. I've been trying to get it for the last year. It's like, in the perfect world, I wanted it, I wanted it in a perfect world on like that QB setting that I battled Bangs on, I just like the energy when we were freestyling back and forth. I like how the fans are and all that kind of stuff or whatever. And I'll just be honest, like there's been a bidding war amongst different leagues that have hit me up for the Prep battle, and like I said, that's good. That's good because I think Prep is one of the better freestylers. You know what I mean? And I think man, you remember him in Saga? Like that's such a obviously it's gonna be very difficult to ever like be on that level of what that battle was or whatever. I just know how good Prep is and what he can do when he's rebuttaling back and forth. And I'm like, that's a battle I really, really want to get done. But I want it to get done with the right crew filming it, the right, all that kind of stuff, because I want to, not have to, be like, dang, this audio, the this, the that, you know what I mean? Like, and so, so in a perfect world, we'll be able to get that done hopefully this year. Street Talk reached out about it, which is cool. They're putting on more and more cards and they're learning as they're going as well. They had avocado for that event that I did with Suave Seva, so that was dope, So, so yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, there's a lot of names, a lot of things I still want to do for the rest of this year, man.
You and Jazz got to happen also. That's got to happen. That's just
that's what I wanted. I wanted me and Jazz on Bulletproof. That's why I sent the names. I was like, yo, come on, Jazz, come outside. Like that's how I was feeling. So. But anywhere that me and Jazz end up battling, that could be a Riot battle as well. That could be, it could be, just anywhere, like
the Riot's in a good place for that battle though, because both y'all have good relationships with Geechee, right?
Yeah,
that way that battle's a Riot battle. I could be wrong, but it just feels that.
Well, not only that is that she moved out there too,
That part also, right?
One thing is like, it's dope to be able to perform like where you live, and I'm sure that she would really probably. Love to have like a LA battle, and I don't know the last time or if she's ever battled in LA or whatever, but yeah, I think that's a dope battle that could be on the ride as well. So,
what's your thoughts on the NOME card? Have you seen the matches on the NOME?
I have seen the matches on the NOME card so far. I mean, man, it's tough these days, right? It's tough these days. People giving them a hard time because it's night of main events, right? I've seen some of the conversations that are like, these are not all main events, Well, guess what? This is a different battle rap era, right? Creating main events is difficult when everybody's battling everybody on everybody's leagues and there's the storylines and different things. Kind of like what Organic talked about,
Right.
At one point in time, there was storylines and those buildups, and it was like, oh, we can easily throw, like this battle, this battle, this battle, this battle. And it's like, boom, these are all heavy hitters, right?
Right.
So you couple that with what has been talked about in regards to not a lot of superstars being created since, basically COVID or whatever. Like you have a few, you know what I mean? But and so it's harder to do like this is a main event. This is type thing or whatever. But I'm not mad at some of the battles, man.
Listen, man, Jalen Knightley and Rum Nitty gonna be one of those ones.
Yeah. And that might, weirdly enough, that might be the one I'm least like, and I don't even want to say least because it's a unique battle that will surprise me, I think. But like Twork is sick. Like to me, is an amazing battle. Like Chess and Eunice to me is going to be an amazing battle. Fonz and John is going to be a really, really good battle. And my thing is like, and I don't say that like they're not amazing or whatever. I think that like one thing that John does is he finds a way to win, and he performs at a high level on big stages. And Fonz is constantly one of the best writers and punchers in battle rap, and and I think he's going in ready to kill something as well. So it's just been 5 announced, right? So it's Eunice Chess, Fonz, John, Nitty, Jada Nightwing, Twork Sick.
And a battle that people are not too happy with, respectfully. Don't kill me, y'all, when I say this. But I saw people poo-pooing on Hustle and T-Top.
Oh, yeah. That's tough, man. That's tough.
And Hustle been telling people to kick rocks.
And Hustle's coming off back-to-back 2 great performances against Hitman and Real Deal. You know?
Right.
And so I think maybe some of that just stems from T-Top's activity, and kind of like where he's been with it. We'll see a vintage T-Top round here and there, but maybe not, he maybe hasn't been like, just cooking things, he's also been running leagues and doing different things or whatever. So, but it's still, listen, she won the Wody before, right? Like the Hustle's a Wody winner. T-Top is obviously a legend in battle rap.
Right.
It's literally 2 names that, could, if they wanted to, go in there and put on the best performance of the night.
Right. Does Sick stand a chance against Twork?
Absolutely.
I keep saying it.
I think
they tell them crazy, but
Sick is one of the most dangerous battle rappers in the world. Him and Twerk and Ill Will, to me, like, often are like, when I'll use words like dangerous when I'm like around them, like, when they get into that this writing level and this performance level, and they mix it all with the rapping and stuff, like it's hard to beat like a great real Sick round. It's very difficult. And I think, when we were talking about superstars and stuff, I think if he was a little bit more active, you know what I mean? Like that we would easily be talking about how real Sick is, is the best in the world. I think that he's just not as active. And then some of his battles that he's gotten, like these big opportunities, unfortunately, like the disaster battle, like, they just didn't pan out to being what,
right.
Whereas you have like a battle with me, it's like probably King of the Dot battle of the year. Crazy, you know what I mean? Like, but I think very, very highly of real Sick. So
why didn't John make your list, sir?
Make my list? Oh, battle?
Yeah.
No, he's always on the list. He's definitely always on the list. I don't know what league I would battle John on. So,
Okay.
Like before, I would always be like, "Yo, set it up on bullpen." You know what I mean? But I think he thinks like low of me, like I'm not, like I'm not worth like a bullpen like look for John. I feel that way. You know what I mean? I don't know if he would say it or not. He might, but I think like that was how I felt. But I don't know if bullpens. I don't know if they exist anymore. Like I don't know, and that's just I don't know if he's made a statement or anything. Like I'm not saying like and there's no pun intended there. So my bad, 3. Let me chill, bro.
Y'all rappers be killing me because y'all are so good. Y'all are terrible, brother.
Let me chill, bro. I didn't get the battle yesterday, bro. So it hasn't turned off.
You're in real form, sir.
It hasn't turned off. But no, I don't know if he said or if because his last event was called Endgame and it obviously ended the way it ended or whatever. Right. We haven't seen anything since. But that's the league I would think would be a fire. Like I said, maybe if I book something with TBL, in the future, I don't know how that conversation works. If they're like, yo, we don't want to book you again until we get the reschedule or what, I'm not sure. But that could be a possibility. But yeah, John's John. So I would love to just, to get in there and smoke him.
Smoke him?
Yeah, come on now.
Talk about
No. Talk about A-Ward, bro.
You just said it. Said John finds a way to win battles, sir. That's what you said.
He finds. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said he finds a way not to lose.
Okay, part of it. Okay, not to lose. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's a better way to put it. But yeah, I just don't think like I think what John does well is like he's kind of just like he's the lesser version of me. Like he's a versatile guy who can do a lot. I'm probably funnier than him, but like scheme, punch, perform, all that kind of stuff. I do it like on a higher level.
John. Wow,
come on.
I like this kind of really.
Come on,
look at your face, boy. Look at your face.
Come on,
look at your face. So you got fun with the John then, it sounds like, sir.
And that's the tough thing is on that big stage on Gramercy, you know what I mean? And like me saying, John is a professional. He is a strategic. He knows how to feed those crowds,
right?
You know, and do it. And that's really, really good. You know, he can neutralize some of the if Fonz goes in there, just punch. John can neutralize that. That's what we can do as versatile battle rappers. When I'm talking about like what I do is like, yo, you know, like all you're doing, like you have to be to beat me, you have to be like Rem Nitty. You have to be punching at the highest level all 3 rounds. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, it's a battle of the year because I do so much. You know, so I think that you know I'm not gonna sit here and act like John can't beat Fonz. I just think John's you know career is highly about not losing battles, you know, and running a league and being a pretty good battler.
Pretty good battle is crazy. pretty good battle. That last line is crazy.
The worst part about this is this ain't promo. Like all my friends, this is probably the one hot take that my friends, like my peers, give me a hard time about, you know. And I've told John this before, like, and he's proved me wrong. Like I'm like, yo, I thought Frack was gonna beat him clearly, you know. I actually had Frack edging the battle, but I mean, it wasn't a clear win, you know. And it was on King of the Dot, and it was, you know what I mean, like. But I mean, and John to me had a really good round, you know, had some stuff, but he also had some stuff that I'm just like, yo, I don't know how the world like can hear this and be like, and it's just that's just what it is. Like I feel like he's one of the best at having bad bars. Like I feel like he has some really bad bars that we're just like.
Tell us how you really feel, Ward. Tell us how you really feel.
You brought him up, man. You brought him up.
Good Lord, man.
Hey. With that said, though, I had him beaten Eazy too. Like, so, like I said, I give credit where credit is due, right? So I'm not gonna sit here. Like I remember back in the days, like I used to always use the word trash, like sarcastic, you know what I mean? And I would tell like Low Summer Street Hymns because they're on bullpen. I'm like, man, John's trash. They would get mad because of like, yo, first off, he's not trash, and he's definitely not trash. He's John. He's a legend of a he's a legend of a battle rapper, right? He's where he's at for a reason. You know what I mean? He's worked hard or whatever. But I use that word like kind of in some like, man, I don't, you know, I just some of the stuff that he says, I'm just like, yo. How can your high highs be that high and your low lows be that low? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost just like seeing like Steph Curry like airball a free throw, right? Like you would be like, yo, what the heck? Like, this is not you're not supposed to miss the mark that bad if you're a professional. That's how I feel about some of his like bad material that he writes.
Well, damn, okay. Oh, okay. Let me ask you this. What's it about chess that all you guys when a lot of guys that come on my show and I ask them, you know, who do you want to battle? It seems like across the board, Chess has mishaps. I rock with Chess, but he has mishaps in his career, right? A lot of mishaps, in fact, right? But you guys want to battle him. What is it about Chess that make you brothers want to battle him? You willing to battle him, though?
I think for the most part, we all think that Chess when he's on is one of the best. You know what I mean? And so I do at least, you know. And
you know, John beat Chess, right? You know that, right?
Huh?
John beat Chess.
Yeah. I don't remember it, but I'm sure he probably did. You know, actually, I do remember it.
Yeah.
I think I do remember it. And Chess didn't choke, right? It was 3 rounds.
No, I don't think Chess choked at all. No.
Yeah, and John beat him, right?
Battle,
yeah. Blind squirrel finds a nut, but so it's an old saying. You're not my age 3. I'm turning 40 this year.
And I had him beat Rum Nitty also.
I'm turning 40 this year, man. This is an old phrase, man. Old phrase, man. You're not up here with me yet, man. You're not up here with me yet. But yes, I think that. And I just like the aggression, and he's just a different battler. Sometimes you get in the mode of like you're like another punchline for, but you know, Chess is a different type of battler, you know. Pose is just a different threat, man. I really like when Chess puts 3 rounds together, like how good he is. I think him and Loso, that's such an underrated battle.
Yeah,
it's an amazing battle. You know, and so there's just been a lot of performances that he's had where I'm like, I know when he rises to the occasion. And personally, like, you know, maybe I'm just full of myself, but I think people rise to the occasion against me. And so I'm like, yo, if I battle Chess, I'm gonna get, you know, one of the best chesses.
And I mean, I know you're not going to say this now, but you're going to be on that TBL card. You have to be.
Which card?
Hitman move card.
Hey man, I would hope so. You know what I mean?
If I'm gambling man at the crap table, I'm gonna bet you're on there, brother. I mean, you know what I mean. You, Jay the Nightwing, I like, you know what I mean. You know what's funny?
That would be fire. That's another name. I've actually told a few people that me and Jay the Nightwing would be crazy.
I don't think that's I think it's an understatement, sir.
That's a very fire battle.
You know what's funny? I was on Joe Budden's Spaces just today, right? Just today I was on Joe Budden's podcast. I mean,
he don't know who I am.
I think he knows who you are, sir. He was in the building. I stood right next to him. I was right next to Joe Budden. It was me, Joe, Verb, and Tweet Flip. Yeah. That same circle. And when
guess who was shaking that?
Let me just say one thing about battle rap, man. People say this all the time. You got to be in the building, and that's for real, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Because, bro, the highlights you had in that battle, bro, to watch Murder Mook's face when you were rapping. I'm a blogger. These are guys that are right. You guys are the writers, and I'm watching Mook's face when you rapping. Mook this whole time, just laser focusing on you. I'm like, damn, you shook the building, bro. Like, good Lord, Crown Vic and Verb, you just thumping that light, man. You know what I'm saying? But I expect you to be on that TBL card, though. I expect you to be on there. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like that's great league, man. You know, Apollo was such a great event. You know, I love what they got going on, how they're moving forward. And so yeah, you know, I would definitely love to be on there. Like I said, plenty of names I think that provide plenty of great opportunities. And so I think it's just a matter of trying to figure out where we go from the Twerk battle and how he's operating, seemingly disinterested and wanting to move towards Eazy, and me feeling like, yo, like if you're gonna be disinterested, or if I'm gonna feel like that you're not taking it as serious, you know, as a like, yo, my bad, let's get this locked in, whoop de whoop, you know, then I'm not gonna sit here and bust my butt for another 2 months, you know, or whatever, just to finally get a product that, whether he wants to, if he performs good, if he doesn't, good, he's still gonna, you know, there's no, you know, he can do what he wants.
Right. All right, brother. So I guess we gotta wait till July to see you again. That's what we're doing next month.
Yep.
Right?
As of right now, yeah, I don't think I have any. I hope I don't have anything in June, but I need to go check my calendar.
Check the calendar right to make sure.
You know, the Horsemen, we got a Juneteenth show. The Horsemen, we got a Juneteenth show in Detroit. So we're doing a Juneteenth show out there. That'll be really dope. So
what's that intel? What's that? Give me the backstory.
There's like an outdoor kind of festival like that the city of Warren is putting on, which is right outside of Detroit.
Okay.
And so they brought us in. They've brought us in a couple times in the past few years to perform.
Okay.
And so they're bringing us in, and it's like live music, you know, just all kinds of different stuff. So me, Loso, Saga, and Street are headed out there June 21st. You know, then we got Coffee July 5th. And then we got anything else in July? Oh, yeah, we'll have the announcement for the other July event, you know. And so I'm excited, man.
My brother, you stay in the airports, boy. My brother, stay in the airports, man. You stay in them skies, brother. This
is how tired I am, Street. This is how tired I am, right? So I rescheduled the first Bad News event, right? So I just got a credit back from my airline, right? So like they're just like, yo, just get a credit back, you know, when I didn't do it the first time, and just use that credit for the battle this weekend, you know? So, all right, cool. Bro, I'll be like at home writing, doing things, and just my ADD. So I booked the flight for this weekend, and I booked Saturday to Monday. So I don't even know why I'm in Dayton still. I don't fly out till tomorrow. I accidentally booked myself going in the day of the battle and going home. So I'm just sitting in a Dayton hotel room about to watch game 2 of the finals. Like I was like going to check in. I'm like, yo, why does it say I don't check in for a day? I was like, what the heck? Like I'm supposed to be going home like tomorrow, thinking I just booked it. No.
What the hell?
I might need a manager, bro. I might need a
listen, does Indiana OKC win tonight?
Yeah, OKC wins tonight. Yeah. Man, still in 2 at Oklahoma City is kind of crazy thought. If that's the case, then this whole series has shifted completely. You know what I mean? I expect Oklahoma City to win and to cover tonight. So I expected a double-digit win tonight. So we'll see, though.
Yeah, overall, OKC winning the series, though?
I got to win it in 6. I got to win it in 6.
Same thing as you. I don't know what Hallie get caught like. You know what I'm saying? Hallie's out here wilding.
I mean, listen,
I can't even lie, man.
We talk about like I do my circle of friends, you know, that run that the Mavericks had when they won the finals, and how Dirk had to go through all of those insane teams or whatever.
Yeah.
And like this is equivalent to like an individual thing. Is like the run that he's having and whatever. Like we'll be talking about it 20 years, 30 years later if they win the finals. You know, like the individual run of clutch shots and things that he's done. And like, here's my thing: he gets into the finals. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, all of that comeback stuff stops here. Now you're playing the best team in the league, the team that's been the best all year. You know, the team that's, you know, they're not susceptible to lose, but they're the most, you know,
complete squad.
Yeah. And then what happens? 15 points in the, you know, down 15 in the fourth quarter, down 9 in the last 3 minutes or whatever, and then boom, same thing. You're just like, yo, that's crazy. You know, and one thing is Siakam's playing very well. Neesmith's hitting clutch fourth quarter threes. Nembhard's out there making the right plays. Like they're getting it from a lot of different, you know, Miles Turner. You know, they're getting it from a lot of different guys. So,
hey Ward, we got to put Rick Carlisle's a great coach, bro. He's a great coach, fam. He's a great coach, man. Are you surprised that Hallie's his peers had him as overrated though?
I think that's so weird. I don't even know why. I don't know why they would even put that out, honestly. I don't know why they would I don't know why that was a thing, you know? Like, why did they do a vote within the players who's overrated? You know what I mean?
Let the fans in the media do that, not the players.
Exactly. It's like, bro, you know, like when you make a list in battle rap, you see how much people go crazy. Like, imagine if all battle rappers went together and put them on the list of the most overrated. Wow. John would be so mad, bro. He would be so mad.
Ward, I love you, my dude. Listen, we're gonna talk after the coffee battle, brother. You know we rock.
Yeah. Hey, when you close this live off the recording or whatever, I still want to rap with you for a minute.
Okay, we'll do that right now. Hold
on.
Let me do that right now.
All right, no doubt, man. Appreciate you, bro.